Possibilities, a podcast for those who are ready to evolve into unstoppable, intuitive, and resilient entrepreneurial leaders. Every episode features successful business thought leaders who share their wisdom about insightful topics that help you amplify how you do business and serve yourself and others. Get comfortable and have fun as you listen to your host, Terry Wildemann, have lively conversation with her guest. Here's Terry. Welcome, everyone, to Awaken the Possibilities. It's Terry Wildemann here. And I have another amazingly brilliant guest to share with you because this specific guest is originally from over the pond and brings such delight, such energy, such passion, and has an eclectic background that, as far as I'm concerned, just is absolutely delicious. So I'm so looking forward to deep diving and finding out a little bit more about this specific guest and how she awakens the possibilities in business and life. So I'd like to introduce you to Ninon de Vere de Rosa. I'm going to say de Rosa, that's my Spanish accent.
The way you pronounce that is absolutely perfect, which is very rare.
Well, it's to me, because I speak Spanish fluently, I just read it as if, whatever. So Ninon is an award-winning television and internet TV talk show host. She has a natural affinity for growth and success. Originally from England, she is prominently known throughout the world and presently in the Las Vegas arena. She has spent her life engaging in multicultural and multinational experiences. Now, listen to this history, guys. Ranging from a career as a high-end model in Europe, underwater swimming act in Beirut. Where did that come from? An actress in England, Europe, and the U.S., and the author of Joyful Volunteer. She is a sonnet writer, a real estate investor, antique dealer, television producer, documentary filmmaker, internet TV talk show host, and her most recent show, Vegas Live with Ninon. Ninon has been fortunate to work with and learn from some of the most talented and prestigious business people in the world. Welcome to Awaken the Possibilities, Ninon.
What an introduction! My goodness, I had to turn around and see who's that woman. Who is this person? What happened?
Well, you and I first met years ago. We're still trying to figure out how far back this was because it's 10 years maybe?
At least 10 years.
At least 10 years. And I was on your show then.
Yes, you were on I think it was a show with Steve Toth, and it was called Conscious Living.
Yes, it was. Yes.
And we're talking about, we're being a big turnaround, and it's back to conscious living again.
Yes, it is. It really is about living consciously in our business and life. So I'm curious. It has been about 10 years. The universe recently connected us again, which is very delightful and very exciting. I'm so glad to have you back in my life. And I'm curious, in the past 10 years, Ninon, we talk about conscious living. What is it that you have seen evolve into more conscious living today?
Well, what I have seen is actually less conscious living.
Interesting.
I see what I've seen in the last 10 years is exactly what they have done in the last 2 months, 3 months, is go home, stay home, don't talk to anybody except the family. Before this happened, that's what I have been seeing for the last kind of 10 years, that people, they knock into you, they don't say they're sorry. They open the door, they slam it in your face. It's like nobody is conscious at all of anybody else. And this has been going on for some time. And I just see us not caring about other people or not bothering about other people. So maybe, I'm not sure, maybe, because we don't know, The casinos, by the way, all opened up in Vegas today. So everybody's happy. 12 o'clock midnight last night, they all opened up. So everybody's like rushing in there. You know, at last they can gamble because that's what they're here for.
Oh, that's funny.
But I see that maybe this could be a turnaround of people being more conscious of actually everyday living, because my philosophy is always, you know, we learn from yesterday. We plan maybe a little bit for tomorrow, but we live today.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people do not live today. They kind of, you know, they worry about things that are never going to happen. They do things that are never going to materialize. And I think maybe staying home for this time and realizing that, wow, I got a wife and I've got children and somebody has to take the garbage out. And maybe that's me as a man. Maybe that's me to do it, or maybe it's the wife, who knows? Doesn't matter who does it. But I think it's bringing people, I don't know, I think it's bringing families definitely together. Yeah. Some will be great and some will be even worse.
Yeah. Well, you know, I do believe that things happen for a reason. I really do. And I do believe also that it's 2020. It's the beginning of a new decade. It's so many new things we are becoming aware of. And again, this was about Awaken the Possibilities. And I do see an awakening beginning in a very, very deep level. It's not how I would have loved to have seen the awakening happen. One of the things, you know,
but that's what I'm trying to say. You can't plan these things.
That's
you can't
right.
plan. I want it this way because, and the most curious thing about this whole thing is, which is, I wake up every morning and think, is this really happening? It's not just America. It's not just Las Vegas.
Around the world.
Is the world. And so we're all thinking in different languages, in different colors, in different religions, in different ways of life. Yes. But basically, we're all coming down to human beings, which is what we all are. We all as humans do the same thing every single day. Some do it this way, some do it that way. But this affected the whole world.
Yes, it did.
It's like a wake-up call.
It is a huge, huge wake-up call. I really see a elevation of energy beginning to happen.
It's a different energy.
It's a very, very different energy. It is a very different energy. And it's going to be very interesting to see what happens in the next few months.
Well, you know, the funny thing is, and I hate to say this because it's that this whole thing has not affected me at all. And the only way it affected me is that I couldn't do my show because the restaurant closed down. Now they've opened up again. And now I have to wait because they want to make sure they get customers in and, you know, and set themselves back up again. It's just not, you just don't turn the light on and everything's back to normal again. Because I don't personally think that anything, well, some things will be, but things are not going to be back to normal. Things are not going to be the same as they were at all.
Right.
And I happen to like that. I like change. I know some people don't, but I love change. I think it's exciting.
To me, it's an adventure.
It's what life is, a journey and an adventure. And what you do from, you know, we all come out the same way and we take our first breath. We all leave the same way and take our last breath, however many years that might be. But we never choose the color we want to be. We don't really choose our religion until we're 18. And so there's a lot of things we don't do until 18, or things we don't choose. We can't choose, you know, to be born in England. I didn't ask her, so I want to be born in Turkey and I want to be born in England and I want to be white. I don't ask for that. I just have to deal with it.
Yes. No, I appreciate it. It's like, things haven't really changed that much for me either, personally, me, Terry Wildemann.
Yes.
Because I work from home. And I've been working from home for years and years and years. And I got off the airplane from Miami. My parents live in Miami. They're 97 and 94. And I went down every 4 to 6 weeks to support them. I got off the airplane and I went right back into what I've always done. So I'm here and I am in home. So working from home isn't a difference for me. But I'll tell you what is a difference for me is having my husband home.
I hope he's the same. Is he the same husband?
And same husband.
Good.
Yeah, and he, you know, luckily my office is in a different part of the house, so I've worked.
Well, you purposely planned that. You're a woman. Come on.
Yeah, well, you know, but ironically though, because he's in another part of the house, I've been in this office more in the last 2 months than I have in the last 20 years because of the you know, the different things that happen. And it's a wonderful thing because I have my angels on this side and I have my books on this side. So I sit in the middle of the practical, tactical, and logical, and the emotional and the energetic.
You have angels?
Right behind me.
Well, I don't know if you can see, but right behind me, I have a whole bevy of angels.
Ah, there we
These
go.
are all angels. All these are all angels.
There you go. Oh my gosh. So the
Yeah, I
angels
collect.
are
I don't really collect them, but they just happen to arrive and be there.
There you go.
I seem to be in a place where they are, and I can buy them, or I'm given them. I'm given a lot of angels, and so yeah, I'm a big angel fan. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Angels have been speaking to me for a very, very long time. And what I find with all of this, and I worked really hard to get green screens and all that stuff, and I'm like, they weren't working. I'm like, what is going on here? And I got a very clear message: the angels have your back. Let them shine.
Literally.
Literally. So I just gave up with the green screen and all that. So to get back to what we were talking about with, you know, is all of this affecting me? Physically, it's not affecting me, but it is affecting me mentally and emotionally. Because I am seeing in this rise, because as an empath, in this rising consciousness, I'm just seeing a discord. Obviously, so many dramatic things have happened, and I just sit back and just watch. I have to watch and hold the space and send love and send kindness, because what I have found is our society has not been kind. Our society has lost the element of being able to love one another without judging one another.
You know, funny you should say that, because I think everybody's saying the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think everybody is kind of getting into this mode now. Who are we being told by, or whom, except our parents, you know, to be nice to other people or to be kind to other people? When you think about it, if you don't have yourself in order, and you don't have yourself, and I always say, go to your bedroom, because your bedroom is supposed to be the most tranquil place probably in the entire world. It could be your bathroom, but normally your bedroom is a place where you have your bed, you lay on it, and you go to sleep. Now, when you go to sleep, you totally relax, hopefully, and which otherwise you can't sleep, you'd be a nervous wreck. So this is a place where I always say, go in, and I don't say meditate, because I don't think a lot of you understand that word. Just sit there and just look around and just sort of, you know, who am I? What am I doing? And what's my purpose in life? Am I fulfilling? You don't have to make anybody in this entire world any different or anything to do with how you are. If you can't get yourself in order first and know who you are, I don't know how you cope with outside. Now,
Absolutely.
A lot of women do say, well, my husband, well, if you're not in order, you can't take care of your husband. Oh, I've got the kids in them. Well, if you're not in order, you can't take care of your kids. So it truly, and I always say to a lot of married women, and I say, please just get away from the kids, close the bedroom door, and if you have to, lock it. And I just sit there, even if it's 5 minutes, give yourself that little bit of time to collect yourself and who you are and what you are. Then don't be ashamed of it. Don't feel that, oh, I'm taking time from this, I'm taking time from that.
I call that extreme self-care.
In the end, it doesn't matter.
That's right.
End, it doesn't matter. It truly doesn't.
You know, when we give ourselves extreme self-care, and that's what I call what you're talking about, extreme self-care, and get grounded.
Yes.
And it's about feeling your bodies.
It's not
about
difficult. It's easy. It's very easy to do.
It is, but for some people it's not, because they only know how
because
to live
they're
in
not
their
grounded.
heads.
They're not grounded.
Yes. So to take deep breaths
There's
and
a
get
lot
into
of
their
people
bodies.
with this. There's a lot of people with this virus that won't even go outside in their own garden because they've been dictated to. They've been dictated to stay in your house and don't leave your house. They won't even go in their car. I went in my car many times, and it's my car. It's in my garage, and it's not attached to anybody or anything. I go for a lovely little drive, and I come home. I feel good. I've seen what's going on out there because I'm thinking, what's happening out there? So go and have a look. But people didn't do that. That bothered me.
What bothered you about it?
It bothered me that I could turn around and say to somebody, listen, we've got this virus, and to stay in your home, you can circulate in your home, try to keep away from your children. It's like dictating tell them what to do, and they 100% obey and do not have a mind of their own, or a mind of saying, well, there's nothing in the garden and there's nothing there. Not using their own initiative, their own feelings and their own body to do what they think is the right thing to do. They have to be told, and they're not going to do anything, and they're going to be absolutely right. That doesn't make sense to me.
I understand. It's,
The awakening. What did you say? Something about an awakening? The awakening.
Awaken the possibilities. Going outside in the sun, going outside and putting your feet in the ground, in the grass, that helps to ground you. Touching a tree helps to ground you. Smelling the beautiful flowers that are blooming, that helps to ground you. And it's so good for your body. It keeps you healthy, and it keeps your immune system strong. It helps you feel better.
I'll tell you a funny story.
Of course.
Talk about getting into the garden. I'm one of these people. I left home when I was 16 with $5, and I survived, and I did extremely well. And then I had my Voices of Tomorrow for 16 years, which I actually interviewed children from 12 younger, 18 older. I did that for 16 years. I won 125 awards for that show. I got and the reason I did that show, I made no money on it. I didn't want to make money. I just wanted to kind of let children, or the teenagers out there, know that there's a place for everybody, because I did it. I don't need a book to tell you. I don't need anything to tell you how to do it. But on that, I'm very capable of changing a light bulb and doing all sorts of crazy stuff. So, I'm all dressed up and looking quite lovely, and sort of, getting together the best I can of what I've got to work with. So in the morning, I go into the garden, and I turn the sprinklers on, and I see a bubble, which is a bubble of water. I said, oh, okay. Would you believe that I fixed my complete pipe system? I bought pieces. I went to Lowe's and I bought pieces, and I cut it and I attached it. I got my hands, and they were filthy, and they were in the gravel, and there was water everywhere, and I did it. And the reason I finished it and I did it, I wanted to let myself know that I can do that. And whether I've got 2 cars, or whether I've got Bentleys or Rolls Royces or a Mini Miner or what, it doesn't matter what you've got. You can still do these things. Don't think you're hopeless and you can't get your hands into the soil, literally. But get yourself into things that you say, I would never do that. Oh, I'm not going to do that. Oh, really? Do it.
And what I find is that when we do things like that, there's a sense of accomplishment.
Oh, for me? Crazy.
I think it's wonderful. What other stories like that do you have, Ninon?
I have. Well, you mentioned something about an underwater swimming act. I truly did have an underwater swimming act, and
that cracks me up.
But it was only me that did the act. And I was only 23 at the time, and I went for this audition, Charlie Hench's in London, and everybody else is sort of, they've got no makeup on, they've got these swimming suits on, and I roll up, full makeup, hair, and the whole bit. Now I'm going to be swimming, so what on earth do I look? So I thought, okay. So I meet him and everything else, and everything's fine. Now I have no idea how to dive. My swimming isn't that good, and this is an underwater swimming act. I'm completely the opposite to what he wants. Anyway, cut a long story short, he disappeared, and I knew where he went. I knew he went underneath the swimming pool, and I knew there was you could look through the window in the pool, So I was very polite. I let everybody go before me so I could see what they were doing, because I didn't know what to do. So I sort of plopped into the water, or I thought I dived into the water. As I dived into the water, I dived in and I put my arms straight out and I looked and I smiled towards where I thought he was. And that turned out to be an international photograph in the paper, because he chose me to do this underwater swimming act. Now, this was in nargile. I don't know if you know what that is. That's a little thing that you smoke out of in the Middle East. They have these little glass pots, and then there's a long tube, and then there's another tube that you puff away at, and all this stuff in the water bubbles. Well, that's what this was, and I was the mermaid swimming in this thing. It was, and the widest part was 4.5 feet by 4.5 feet. Well, I'm 5'6", and I learned to do an underwater swimming. I could crack it up. And I learned to do, and I would whirl around this ball, and then I would roll this way, and then I would do another crunchy thing. I think it was about a 3 or 4 minute act. It was like 5 hours each time, because it was so, but it was so precise. I had this much on top of air, and when I came up, if I didn't catch that air, I went back down with no air. So it had to be timed precisely to get air, get air to swim. And I did that for 2 years in Beirut, of all places. Now, the only reason I decided I wanted to do that is that I wanted to go and live in the Middle East, and I wanted to live in Beirut, because they said that was the paradise of the Middle East, and that's where Ninon wanted to go at 23 years old. I have no idea why, but I did. Had a fabulous time.
Sounds great. So what's coming up for me is you just followed your gut instinct.
I've done that. Done it all my life.
And so let's talk about that with your intuition. Intuition is something that is innate in all of us. Some of us listen to it deeply, some of us do not. What happened? Can you share a story of when you didn't listen to intuition, and what were the results?
I'll tell you a real funny story. I was in Frank Sinatra's house, and with a couple of people, and I was a little late, so when I walked in, and I was very skinny then, and I was 28, 29 then, and I walked into his house, and somebody said something about a broad. And I turned around and I said, I'm not abroad, and I will be not called abroad. Well, I didn't know it was Frank Sinatra that said it, and I couldn't give a damn if it was. I don't care. The king of, doesn't make any difference to me. Don't call me abroad. And, because I was very particular as to who I was, what I was. Anyway, so he had 2 houses. He had one up where he had dinner, and then down at another house down below where he had all his entertainment. And we all ended up going down there, and I ended up sitting next to him. And of course, I traveled a lot. So I kind of, only 28, and I had like a lot to say, and he did too. So we were having a wonderful time. So then that was fine. So then we go up to his other house to have dinner, and I'm sitting at this table and he's sitting at that table, but he's flirting with me. Now, the thing I do regret is I didn't flirt back. I just thought I was playing hard to get. Well, you do not play hard to get with Frank Sinatra. I mean, you just had a great conversation with him, and everything was back, and he was such a sweet guy. He was so nice. So that was one of my regrets, and that happened to me many, many times. I never had that incredible consciousness of grabbing the opportunity. Other opportunities I grabbed, which were great. So my philosophy of the whole thing is that I took the opportunities, or I took whatever it was, the ones I was supposed to have. That's how I look at it. I don't look at it as a regret. I look at it actually as an experience. And I'm able to tell many, many stories like that. Many stories. I remember Esther Williams was in my house in Bel Air. I wanted a big house. I wanted to live in Bel Air, and I got it, and I had it. 7,000 square foot home, 10660.
Talk about law of attraction. You wanted it, you focused on it, you got it.
And I think at the moment I'm in law of attraction again. I'm focusing very much on something, and believe me, it is happening. So I can say that. So there's been I can turn around and say, people actually ask me and say, well, Ninon, how did you get this and how did you do that? And I was married for 29 years and I had a fabulous, incredible, wonderful marriage. I had no children. I still don't have any children. I'm a little old to get pregnant now, but nothing, no harm in trying. Never too old, remember? I got you laughing. Never too old, remember that. But I'm still trying to have a child, but that, it's like a little maybe past it. Because I'm only 39 and holding, as you all know.
Got it.
But my marriage, and they asked me, a lot of people ask me, well, how did you go from house to house and end up in Bel Air? And how did all this happen? And how did you end up having a brand new Rolls? My husband went out and bought me a brand new Rolls Royce. How did those things happen? You know something? My answer is I have no idea. I don't know how all this happened. I just know it happened. And maybe focusing. Mm-hmm. Maybe no, I don't want to do that, but I want to do that. And I was very much like that.
So you're very clear on what you want and what you don't want.
With me.
Yes.
Other people I'm very clear on, and that's why I do get into trouble a lot, because I tell them exactly what I want and they go like, oh, well, how are you going to get it? And I look at them like, what do you mean, how am I going to get it? I'm going to get it somehow. I'm focused. I guess it's focus. And
that is what, one of the things that I teach when I do magnetic business attraction in my limitless prosperity program is I talk about focusing on what it is you actually want.
Yeah, what do you want?
And let go of control. Let go of the control. A lot, be very focused on what you want. I manifested this house. I made a list of what I didn't want and what I did want. I only focused on what I wanted. And good Lord, I actually ended up with a house that had, it was like, check. We're walking through the house going, check, 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 check. My husband's like, check. Oh, good Lord. Could you have asked for a flat driveway? Because our traffic is like this. And I said, well, sorry, dear. But
you didn't even notice that.
Yeah, I didn't when I saw the house, because I knew it was mine, and I was just blown away that everything that was on my list was like bam, 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 bam.
Well, I'm going to tell you another funny story. I'm living in Bel Air. We moved from Bel Air to Mulholland Drive, not too shabby, 7534 Mulholland Drive. And there's a house on Candelabra, and I said, I do not want to live in a Candelabra house, but anyway, God said, yes, you're going to live in it, and you're not going to be scared. And I wasn't. Everything was fine. Then my husband passed away in 2004. I started buying some real estate in Vegas, and then I'd go back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. But I bought a particular house. It's this house, but it was an investment. It was a one-story. It's 2,000, just under 2,000 square feet. It's a rental. I'm living in Los Angeles. As it so happens, we had, the 2008 and the real estate and all that stuff. And things I lost a little bit left. It was a big story. And I'm going back and forth and back and forth. So anyway, to cut a long story short, oops, there goes the earring. To cut a long story short, I sold the house on Mulholland. And I moved into this house. Now, little did I know, and this is where people can understand, sometimes we don't know why we do something, sometimes we don't know why we buy something, or we go here, or we go left, or we go right, or whatever we do, sometimes we don't understand why. Well, I only understood I bought the house for an investment, to make money on it. But I ended up living here, and I've lived here since 2012, and this is now my home. It's absolutely perfect for me. It's much smaller than all my other houses, but there's only me here. And so sometimes in life, and this is going back to 2005, that I didn't know what I was doing then that would fulfill my needs as an older woman now for something perfect. There's no stairs to climb. It's just easy, and the driveway's flat.
There you go. There you go. So I'm curious, you're in Las Vegas now. You're in this home that you never thought you would be living in, and you're living in, and it's absolutely perfect and ideal for where you are right now. You have another show that you're doing. Tell us about your show.
Well, being in Vegas is very different. It's certainly not for an older woman to see if she can find a husband or anything. So that's out. That's completely out the realm. Because they're all looking for the young ones, or they're looking for a well-to-do woman that they can live on. So I thought to myself, so I think I've got to get my little act together here. So, and I've done many shows. So I did the Steve Tuff show. I did it in this house. I started.
Really?
Yeah, I started.
So that was 10 years ago. Yeah, that makes sense. That was 10 years ago.
Yeah, because I did a lot of recordings in my house in Mulholland, and then I moved here and did recordings here with him. I did several different shows with him. I also had Maxed Out Money Hour. I had a credit show we did. I had Ninon Live. I did several shows with him, and it was fascinating. Anyway, so I did all these different shows, and I thought, this is not getting me anywhere. And then I went with another guy in town, and they weren't putting my shows up, and then they were putting things up that I wasn't involved in, but I created, and I didn't like that. So I got away from that. And lo and behold, a guy I had on my show came on, and we talked about doing a show together. And I said, great, let's do it. So he said, well, I'll do all the directing and producing, and you do the talk. I said, that sounds great. And that was 4.5 years ago. And we actually were very fortunate. We were able to have the Peppermill Lounge, which is on Las Vegas Boulevard. So we had our place there. That's our set. They're our sponsors. That's our set and everything. And they've been wonderful to us. We're waiting now to go back in there. But that took, and it was a show of my own. And then I wanted to help people in the industry, which is the entertainment people, the musical people, all these, entertainers. And that's what I'm known for. And everybody sort of, they know who Ninon is, and Ninon's back again doing this show and promoting them. So I can't wait to start promoting them back again since we're reopening now. So it's
how exciting.
Yeah, it's been a stunning show. The support I've had from Vegas has been amazing. It's been absolutely wonderful. So it's been 100% full blast. It's been just amazing.
So Nina, you've had many shows. You've been you've done lots of podcasts. What is the best piece of advice that you would give to aspiring podcasters?
Well, podcasting is a little bit different. You're doing podcasting now, right?
Yes.
Yeah, but see, I'm being very confused about podcasting. So you're probably talking to the wrong person, but also maybe the right person, because maybe I can help in this direction. I was always under the impression that podcasting wasn't televised. Podcasting was more just radio, but that's not true, right?
It has evolved. Like, I say that it did start out mostly audio.
Yes.
And now, I do the video. I break out the audio. I put the audio on different airwaves, with iTunes, SoundCloud, and on Acast. And the video goes up on my website, and it goes up on YouTube. So and then the transcript will also go on. And so that as a trainer, because that's what I am, I work with the visual, I work with the audio, and I work with those folks who just want to read.
So you're telling me podcast is actually is 100% out there on all venues.
Some are, some are not. Some are only audio, others are video. I like to do the video and the audio.
Yeah, I've always liked video. I could have been doing a radio show, and I said, well, I don't really think I want to be stuck in this room, talking to all these people, and I can't have the makeup on and the hair on and fidget and do all this crazy stuff. They can't see me in action. I want to see me in action.
There you go.
So I didn't care for that, but so I love the podcast thing now. I am on podcast. I do have Vegas Live with Ninon, YouTube. So don't forget to go there. Don't forget to subscribe and do your whole thing. There's lots and lots of shows there. And obviously I haven't done anything for a couple of months because I haven't been able to. I didn't do any Zooming or anything like that. I did a couple of shows, but not that many because I didn't really want to. I wanted to keep my status. I wanted to keep people thinking about the Peppermill and my set and the whole thing. So I wanted to keep that in focus. I saw a lot of these males doing their talk shows in their living rooms and with the kids and everything, I truly felt that kind of downgraded them, because they now saw, I know a lot of people say, oh, we can now see them natural, we can now see them doing this and doing that. And I thought it took away from the years, and because I know how long it takes, the years and years of getting yourself positioned for a national TV show, and then all of a sudden you end up in your living room. It didn't make sense to me. Didn't make sense.
Got it. So for you, that scene does not work.
No, it didn't work. No. And yet I'm doing this for you.
Because
I've seen many of them looking quite good and quite well, and they've sort of worked out and everything else. And I think I'm getting hot because these are sliding down. Oh no, that's it. I think I've got them. I'm getting hot to touch.
So, Ninon, I'm curious.
Yes.
If you're going to start a show, if someone's going to start a show, start a podcast, for example, or a radio show, whatever it is, what is the one core thing that someone who wants to host their own program, what do they need?
The first thing they truly need is to practice in front of the mirror on talking, because we don't want the ums and the ahs and not the follow through of a conversation. You are involving people that don't know you on the outside world, and you have something very important to say. You think you have something very important to say. So make sure that is important. Don't stutter. Make sure you pay attention to your camera. Make sure you pay attention to your sound, but make sure that you're in the right position and you feel comfortable. Because if you don't feel comfortable, it's a horrible thing, but this television and radio, they pick up every little movement of your body and your sound, and they pick up everything. And you don't want to do that, because you don't want to start out on a bad foot. But also remember that when you do start out, it's all new to you, and it's like anything, like a job, it's like anything. Practice makes perfect, so you're going to be rising up, and you're going to be getting better each time. So don't think that you can't get there. Right. You can get there, but you've got to do it. You've got to have that confidence. You've got to have. Don't feel embarrassed or worried if you make a mistake in this day and age. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter if you say something a little different and you correct it. It seems to be okay in this day and age, which is actually a little bit more of a natural way of being out there, and people seem to like that. So I think, but have the confidence. You're prepared. You've got your whole scene. You've got your library. You've got this. You've got to have everything together. I have a setup behind me that happens to look, I don't know, looks pretty cool.
It looks very cool. It looks very cool. And we're both wearing white today. We didn't plan to wear white. We're both wearing white today.
Yeah, but I think be prepared. Have the confidence. Be prepared. What you have to say, whatever it is very, very important to put it out there. Because if you want to have a show, then to you it is important to put that out there. So clarify it, make sure you've got all your points together, make sure that and make sure your hair is okay, what you're wearing is okay. Don't just come on with looking, like you've just got out of bed, because unless that's the look you want. Be prepared. People are fussy out there. They'll click you off in a second. Yes, in a second, they'll turn you off. But don't make it too long, and whatever it is you've got to do. But feel confident within yourself. You'll do it. Believe me, you will.
Well, Ninon, where can people find you?
Well, they can find me in several places. Number one is my home. That's just a tease. I'm a jokester, by the way. People say, "Where'd you come from?" I say, "Where do you think I come from?" I come from my mother.
Okay, got it.
And then look at me. That breaks the ice. Anyway, where you can reach me on Facebook, which is obviously Vegas Live with Ninon. You can Instagram. I have a website, obviously, vegaslivewithninon.com. I'd love you to go to YouTube. Go to Vegas Live with Ninon YouTube and subscribe, because the more you subscribe, the more you get. I just had a guy on that talked about all this environmental air and painting a ceiling and all the obstacles and all the different things in the air go and stick to the ceiling, and it's a clear. I had 22,000 people watch him of what he was talking about.
Wow.
So this is also, sort your clients out of who you want and who you think. But anyway, just go to all those different places and you can reach me. You can also call me. I have a phone number which I've given to everybody, and everybody says, "Oh, Nina, why'd you give your phone number out?" I thought, "Why do I have one then?" Why do I have one? Okay, 310-867-5959. And I have a lot of people call me, a lot of, different things and whatever. And I'm able to handle them all. I mean, you can handle life, don't be afraid of life. Please don't be afraid. That's all you got.
Nina, I have to say, I love your energy. I've always loved your energy. And again, thank you so much for joining us on Awaken the Possibilities and speaking to
hang on a second. I need to ask you a question. How are you coping with all this? I mean, I'm an interviewer, so I can ask you at least one question.
Here we go. You know what? It has opened the doors to a lot of possibilities and a lot of opportunities. I have been busier since all this has started than ever. And I am I'm being called up, literally called up to do some big, amazing things. My new program is about to launch, Limitless Prosperity, Awaken the Possibilities. And it's just so many wonderful things are happening. It's because I'm choosing to look for the possibilities.
I was going to say, do you know why it's all happening? Do you know how it's all happening?
I'm choosing to go there. I'm choosing to look for the possibilities. I'm choosing to look for the opportunities. Yeah. I'm choosing to be the best version of myself during challenging times.
That's all you got.
That's all you got.
That's all you've got. And get rid of all those things that don't, I'm going to tell people out there, don't worry about the things that are not going to happen, because it's a waste of time, because you worry and you worry and you worry, this happens, oh God, and it never materializes, it never happens. So just kind of let go and let a lot of things just let them take their course, let them take their own energy.
Let them take their own energy. I think a lot of us are buying into a lot of the drama. And as I've always said when teaching communications, people say, "Oh, leave your emotions at the door." And I'm like, no, bring your emotions with you. Leave the drama at the door. Leave the drama at the door. You don't need the drama
at the door. And take care of life. This is the only life you have. And for every second, half an hour is gone. I can't get back that half an hour. It's gone. I don't know what I talked about. I hope it makes sense.
Well, Nina, you're the first person since I've started this show, and this is now my third podcast.
Oh, wonderful. Well, congratulations. I wish you all the best. Listen, when you're in Vegas, you've got to come on my show.
Oh, I would absolutely love it, but I'm cracking up.
Yeah, every Tuesday from 1 to 3 o'clock, we film. We do about 4 or 5 guests. We interview, and it's fabulous.
Oh, what fun! I know I'll be back. We've already been there. I was supposed to I was a headliner for a show in Vegas before all this hit, and that all just got changed. So when I get to Vegas, I will look you up.
Absolutely. We'll have you on, and we'll promote you, and we'll do whatever we can for you.
Thank you so very much. And to the Awaken the Possibilities audience, thank you so much for being here. It's always a delight to bring you fantastic, interesting guests who just spur your interest and shed a little bit of light into what is going on in your world. I'm Terry Wildemann, and you can find me at awakenthepossibilities.com, intuitiveleadership.com, and on our YouTube channel, Intuitive Leadership. We're also on Instagram, and I'm on LinkedIn. So you can find me anywhere and everywhere. And I would love to connect with you. So if you haven't connected with me in the past, please send me an email at terrywildemann@gmail.com. So looking forward to seeing you next time. And I wish you the best week ever to your success. Thanks for joining us for this episode. Visit our website at awakenthepossibilities.com to subscribe to listen and rate our podcast on your favorite platform, such as YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, iHeartRadio, Cashbox, and more. For events, business, mindset, and leadership coaching services and courses, visit our website at intuitiveleadership.com. We look forward to sharing more insightful episodes and wish you much success in your business and life.